So programmable payments is a term that's been around in the industry for a while, and usually people want it, and usually they don't know what it is, they can't define it. So we had this with lots of different clients. We definitely want to do programmable payments. Well, tell us what you mean by that. Well, we don't know. We'd like to explore that because we don't really know what it means. So what we've tried to do is create a bit of a system to define it for them. So we say, okay, it's kind of three levels of programmable payments. There's the legacy, the past, which is, if you think about a direct debit, something like that, that's programmable. The money can come out, there's all sorts of stuff that goes around. It's standing order, kind of, simple, but programmable. Then we got kind of where the DLT folks, so the next level up, where the DLT folks are. So they've got a smart contract lives on a blockchain, only lives on that blockchain, executes in the context of that blockchain. Quite cool if you're on that blockchain, not usable at all if you're not on that blockchain. Bit confusing if you're a consumer because you've got a bank account, you don't really know what a blockchain is or how you connect to it or anything like that. So it's not all that usable, but within its own context, it's quite good. And then kind of where we see the future is programmability at the level of your bank account. So if your bank account has programmability, automations, scripts that can be added to it, like a direct debit, but it can do anything, is kind of what the concept we're looking at. That works with whatever. If you're connected to a blockchain, great, it'll work on the blockchain. If you're connected to faster payments, it'll work on there. If you're doing something else, foreign exchange, all of those things can be plugged into it. So for us, programmable payments needs to be useful, which means it needs the biggest reach, which means it needs to be not in the rails, not in the infrastructure, but actually in the bank account. So I think probably the biggest trend is going to take a little bit longer than a year to play out, but there's this confusing pile of different types of currencies which is going to need to become simple again. So at the moment we've got folks experimenting with tokenized deposits or live with tokenized deposits with things like Connexus. We've got lots of stable coins, mostly dollar stable coins. We've got different regimes in Europe and the UK. We've got stable coins that probably should come in from there. And we've got all of these different new types of money finding their niche, finding their use case, or dying out and becoming something else. And that, I think, is at the moment very confusing for everybody coming into the market because there's lots of different terms, all of which means subtly different but very similar things. And as that kind of plays out over the next year, 2 years, I think we'll start to see some dominant players and concepts, and everything will get simpler again. As this happens, you get this proliferation and you get this consolidation, and at that point I think things will start to take off more. So we're in a bit of an experimentation phase. Lots of things need to shake out basically in terms of the types of money that we're talking about.